You're listening to Sweep the League.
Hey, this is George Iceman Gervin, and you're listening to Sweep the League Radio.
Apologies for last night. Hey, man, a storm swept through here in Seguin where I live and knocked out my internet. So had to go dark on Sweep the League last night. But we are back. We're going early right now only because it's NBA Finals night. Game 3 between the Mavericks and the Celtics is happening here at 7:30 Central Time. So be sure to tune into that game. It's Game 3. Can Dallas win Game 3? Can Boston go up 3-0 and continue on towards the sweep of the Mavericks? We're going to get into that here tonight, as well as remembering the logo, Jerry West. And it's kind of funny about the logo because in a day where we want to remember one of the greatest basketball players of all time, the logo himself, even though the league dances around the whole logo, man, basically, they don't want to acknowledge Jerry West probably because they feel like they have to, pay him extra money for trademark or something. But we all know it is Jerry West. Nonetheless, in a day where we're trying to remember Jerry West and, the legacy he left behind, I've got a bone to pick and I've got a rant on that. Because I see a lot of people, and I don't know ages. I don't click on everybody's profile, but the disrespect from a lot of people when it comes to legends of the game, it's getting out of hand, and it's really, really ticking me off. So we're going to get into logo talk, remembering Jerry West and, going over some of his accomplishments just in general. And I've talked to, obviously, Derek Gervin and I talked earlier, so just remembering a lot of Jerry West, bringing it up here. We'll talk about that, as well as other stuff is coming up on the show. We can figure out everything else that's going to be coming up. This is Sweep the League. So, we have sports, laughs, life, everything that we talk about. You guys want to ask questions, ask away. We'll definitely get into it here. We've got other reports as well. If you want to talk Spurs, talk about Spurs. It doesn't really matter. Let's get it. We are getting it today, man. We are definitely getting it today. Mario Cavazos is in here. What up, Rudy? How's it going, brother? It's going good. Internet is back up, so it's good. It's good. Mario, congratulations on that card. It's on its way to you. It was mailed out today, so congratulations on being one of the winners on Friday night. Tim Gonzalez, Tar Heels still suck. Put a Blue Devils. Hey, Tim, congratulations on the card as well, on the prize. Mario and Tim, our winners from this past Friday. Their prizes are out. Actually, the mail today, from what I understand. So, y'all should be getting this real soon here. He is joining me tonight for previews of the NBA Finals as well as Jerry West talk. It is the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend. Coach Gio is here. What's going on, Coach? You doing all right, man?
Doing good, Rudy. I heard you didn't pay your internet, so I ended up going out last night. But glad you were able to pay it.
No, I ended up paying it. The NIL check that we were supposed to get came in this morning, so I ended up paying it this morning. Shout out to Winford Webb, man, joining us on Facebook. No comment on there, but definitely thank you for joining us on Facebook, Winford. Appreciate it. Mario Cavazos is in here. Tim Gonzalez, DC SEC versus ACC Challenge. I have not seen, excuse me, I have not seen the matchups, but obviously ACC and SEC Challenge is going to be fun.
Well, if George is playing the ACC in football, we all know what's going to happen. So, but obviously, I believe Tim is talking about basketball. So
yeah, I don't think Tim's talking much about football. There's not much to talk about when it comes to Duke football. So I get it. I truly get it. Hey, man, we've got we got something cool tonight. So when we go to commercial break, they're basic commercials, but we got some commercials. So your mic is off. I can't even hear your mic, so you need to turn it on, man. You got to pay the mic bill, Gio.
Rudy's got that YouTube money coming in, so it looks like he's been able to upgrade here.
No, a little bit. A little bit. I was able to sell plasma and blood, so I got a little bit of money to do stuff. It's not the greatest commercials, but they're basically read-overs and stuff, so it's something.
It's definitely something.
It definitely is. Mark Cavazos, you're very welcome, Mario. Appreciate you coming in. Yo, cruising through Detroit, no good sports teams. San Antonio tonight. JC, I guess he's cruising through Detroit. He's in Detroit. Be safe out there if you're in Detroit, man. Definitely be safe up there. Tar Heels and Bama, Duke and Auburn. So those are the matchups that are the most important.
I keep thinking, I know Tim's talking about basketball. I keep thinking what would happen in football, but
Yeah, it's all basketball, man. I'm gonna let you know before we move on quick, Gio. It seems like your mic's going in and out and all that, so you may want to check that area, man. I don't know what's going on there, but can't hear it, so you may want to check on the mic, see what's going on. Maybe you got to pay your bill. Maybe your electrical bill is out and you're not able to do that. So, nonetheless, he'll be right back. He'll be right back, Coach Gio. He's having a little bit of technical difficulty. Let's get into some NBA Finals talk here. Let's see. Where's my final bump at? I've got an NBA Finals bump. There we go. NBA Finals, Boston and Dallas. Yeah, I want to get a quick comment in here. I did see this earlier, Tim. Bob Harris, Duke radio legend, did pass away today, as well as Jerry West. We'll be talking to about Jerry West here in just a lit's bit. But let's get into some NBA Finals talk right now. As we all know, the NBA Finals are tonight. It is in Dallas. The series has shifted to Dallas. Mavericks have not, they haven't looked good. Luka Doncic has obviously been the best player for the Mavericks, but you want to do a mic check?
Mic check?
Yeah, you're good now.
Oh, you know why? It's because my work headphones have a mic, and since I have my mic here, when you flip it up, it actually turns off. But can you hear me good? Does it look like I paid my bill?
I hear you perfectly now. Perfectly. The credit card statement is good. Your bill is paid, man. But, NBA Finals, man. So it shifts to Dallas. And, we've seen Boston dominate game one. Dallas was with them in game two. They hung with them. Obviously, Boston came out on top in that game. They won by 7 points. Shifts to Dallas. Now, before the game starts, I'm going to give you my prediction. Now, this was way before Porzingis was ruled out, but I fully expect Dallas to win tonight's game. They are coming back home. Game three. Had to run Boston. It's 2-0. Celtics up on the Mavericks. I fully expect Dallas to win. When I talked last on the show, which was Monday, I was putting the over for Kyrie and Luka combined points at 60 tonight. I think Luka goes for 30 plus. Kyrie has, I think, between 28 and 30. So it's going to be a game where I believe both of those guys are going to shine. They're going to basically carry Dallas to, a win tonight. Then I fully expect Boston to come back and win games 4 and 5. I have them closing out the series in 5 instead of 6 now. Boston just looks too good. But the Porzingis injury, that has to be some kind of concern, knowing that he's been their best big man on the defensive side. Even though Horford's playing good defense, Porzingis has been the best defensive player for Boston on the blocks, Gio. What are you expecting from tonight's game? Do you see a possible Dallas win, or do you think Boston takes it tonight?
Well, I've had Dallas winning the series, Rudy. So
you're praying they win.
I pray they hope. And I know some Spurs fans might say, Gio's praying for a team in Dallas to win. Well, yes, I am. And I would love to see Kyrie win after what he's kind of been through. We won't get into that. But, Rudy, I did say Porzingis is, one of the key factors. He was the guy, Rudy, that I didn't know what to expect. Mm-hmm. We saw he's played well. He's going to be out. Is this a situation where Dallas can take advantage? Because, listen, Luka's been showing up, Rudy. We have nothing to say about him. He's been playing. But Kyrie, where are you at?
Shows up tonight.
Did you leave, something in Dallas? Because in Boston, Rudy, it was not much. It's time to pick this up because, Rudy, if they lose tonight, we can basically guarantee that this series is over, right? I mean, I don't think we're looking at a Herculean, down 3-0 to come back and win the series. But Dallas has to to me, it's Kyrie, Rudy. If everyone, listen, home players, they play better at home, right? For the most part. Sometimes you may get a guy on the road, but the players at home play better, especially your role players, as they always say. But Rudy, Kyrie's got to step up. I got to see 25, 30 points because if he has 10, 12, do you honestly see them winning? Because I don't. Unless one of your role players starts jacking up threes and really starts to put pressure. But Porzingis, he's out. This could be the tide, Rudy, that swings for the Dallas Mavericks. But Kyrie, my boy, you got to step up in the next 2 games, especially tonight.
Yeah, tonight, like I said, I've got them plus 60. So if I'm a betting man, which I am, wink, wink on the side, I'm taking plus 60 Kyrie and Luka combined on points. It just feels like it's one of those games. Luka's, they're back home. The home crowd's going to be involved. I think everything shifts to Dallas tonight. Everything's just going to go right for the Mavericks. I don't think it's a blowout. I don't consider a 10-point win, 9-point win, too much of a big blowout or anything. But I mean, I feel that they could probably end up winning by 7, maybe 6, 7, 8 points tonight, the Mavericks. I think it's going to be a good game. But I don't feel like it's ever going to be in jeopardy towards the end. I think Dallas controls, the fourth quarter. But Kyrie and Luka going off for 60 total, that's my pick for tonight.
We've seen it's hard to put Boston away. I mean, we saw in that Indiana series, Rudy, where, listen, the Pacers have game 1, Rudy. They literally, if they don't screw up the inbounds, they probably win game 1. Game 3 was also theirs. We're up big at home, and they just couldn't get the job done. It's tough to close out Boston, especially this late in the season when they're humming. And Rudy, their 2 stars haven't played great, but everybody else has played, right? Porzingis has been stepping up, been getting everything from everybody. Dallas, to me, it's Kyrie. It's Kyrie or bust, because I think Luka's going to get chores. The role players will play better at home, but you got to get something from him, because if not, you fans might as well go start watching the Rangers over there in Fort Worth, because that's it.
It's going to be an interesting game. Like I said, I'm expecting Dallas to win this, but after that, I got Boston winning games 4 and 5. I don't see them. What's weird, if I'm not mistaken, I've got to remember it, and I'm thinking I remember right. Boston has yet to lose a game on the road in these playoffs. So
I believe so. Yeah,
they've only lost
home team
2 games this playoff series. So they both were at home. So they've yet to lose a game on the road. That's kind of why I have them winning in 5. I mean, I don't see Dallas beating them in Boston, but I feel they're gonna win one of these 2 games. I'm thinking it's gonna be game 4 is what Boston's gonna do.
Well, look, Rudy, we've seen before that teams go down 2-0 in certain situations and come back to win. We saw, the Miami Heat, Rudy, against the Dallas Mavericks. They're up 2-0 in that series in 2007, I believe.
Yeah, something like that.
Or it could have been 2006. And look, the Heat, Dwayne Wade goes on a monster tear, and they end up winning that series. Kyrie's going to have to step it up. To me, that's the guy. That's the guy, because Luka is Luka. But Kyrie, you turn back the clock. Hey, as I said earlier, Rudy, if they don't, you Rangers fans can go watch some baseball, because that's what's going to happen.
Well, you think it's over by the third quarter? Like, what do you see tonight? Do you actually? I know you got Dallas winning the series, but how close of a game do you see it tonight? I think it's close the whole way.
I think it's close the whole way, because, like I said, Boston, they'll tug you. Those players, White, they was just going there. And look, you never know. Al Horford can make 5, 6 threes tonight. Remember that game in Indiana? It was just jacking up shots, going through the hoop. That's what scares me too, is the other role players for Boston, Al Horford, White, they start getting hot. You really have to counter that with your stars, because if Kyrie at least gives you 30, Rudy, I'm sure they win game 1.
Yeah.
I'm very sure they win game 1. So,
well, definitely game 2.
Yeah, definitely game 2.
They definitely win game 2 if they get anything out of Kyrie.
That just shows you how important he is, and I think he's going to come out tonight, just go out and just play your game. But Rudy, I'm thinking by the third, Dallas has to come out. Now, if Boston takes their punch, Rudy, then it could be one of those seesaw games throughout, and whoever has the last possession might win.
Game 3, Boston wins. Is it safe to say they sweep?
A gentleman sweep, sure.
So you probably still game 5.
I think Dallas do something, but man, it's kind of been. I know I didn't watch too much of game 1, Rudy, but game 2 was, it was much better game, but hasn't really been exciting first two games of the NBA Finals. Where are the Spurs at, man? Where's Tim Duncan at? Have some adventure.
You've got to look down from the tower and see the Spurs because they're way down there right now. But
hey, Rudy, that 2013 NBA Finals was I know we lost, but man, talk about a series. And obviously the Cavs and the Golden State Warriors when they went 7, but the first two games have kind of been okay.
Yeah, it's all right. You know, I was thinking, does Danny Green listen to Locked On Spurs or Sweep the League? Because he came out on a recent interview about the Spurs and talking about Wemby and said that this team will turn the corner in 2 years, being 2025, 2026. I've been screaming that from the mountaintop for the longest time. So I know you roll your eyes, but Danny Green must be listening somewhere and must be regurgitating what I say because I called it. And I'm telling everybody, 2025, 2026, that's the season that we see a turnaround. I'm telling you.
Danny Green, once upon a time, I said he had arthritis in his hands. But look, I think that
get us in trouble.
You know what? Let's move that out. But look,
no,
I do look. You've been pushing for 2025 already, and I get it.
Mm-hmm.
All I want to see is progress.
So what is progress? What is progress in? What is progress?
Eliminate most of the team and get new players.
So yesterday's Locked On Spurs. Yesterday's Locked On Spurs, I was with Jeff Garcia, and it was basically, it came down to what you said. You want to see progress. What's basically considered a successful season? What needs to happen? So I took wins, obviously, but also being aggressive in the offseason would be great progress. Now, whether they go and be aggressive and get players and they win 28 games, 29 games, I consider that progress.
No, I mean, I'm right there with you. Of course, I would love the Stars, and me and Derek have talked about this on the show. Get that big name or semi-big name, whatever you can. I just want to see progress. I just want to see more wins. Get more excitement in this team. I don't think the way it's if they come back again, Rudy, as constructed, how many wins do you see this team?
27.
Well, Keldon's gone, right? So
Not yet. He's not gone yet. So
I guess he's not gone yet, but
so if you're bringing back the exact same team, you don't move anybody. You have the exact same squad, and you add your rookies in. I've said it many times already, 27 wins, 28 wins is what I'm thinking. 28 at the most, but 27 is what I feel comfortable. So +5 on the win column. Do I consider that a successful season? It's wins. So yeah, I do. I do consider it a successful season.
it's increased wins. I would prefer 35 ish games.
Massive.
That's what I'm saying. They need another piece or two to really at least get close to that. Just progress. But, you know, I guess we'll see this offseason. It's going to come sooner than later. And obviously, in that time, me and Rudy are going to talk about the greatest sport ever, football.
That is definitely on the horizon here. Mark Cavazos, I didn't see Jerry West or Pistol Pete. Was Jerry better due to Pistol being injury prone? We're going to get into that because we have Jerry West talk coming up here, Mario. We'll bring that comment back up. See what happens when you say something bad about Duke football. Gio's mic goes off. Yeah. He didn't pay his bill. The ladies SEC versus AC is tough. My Lady Beatles at South Carolina. That's a very good matchup there. Very good matchup. Rudy is still upset the Spurs drafted Duncan over Rudy. The booty, it's supposed to be Compo. It's not campus, but it is Compo. So, yeah, I was kind of pissed off that I wasn't drafted by the Spurs '1 back in '97. They had some
How
kids
old were you?
Forest. At that time, I graduated in '97, so I was 17, because I graduated in May. My birthday's not till August, so yeah, I was 17. I would have been a 17-year-old rookie in the NBA, but Spurs didn't believe in me, so F that. You know, who cares? Whatever. Apparently, they drafted some Duncan guy who was a little bit more successful than other guys in the league, so we'll just kind of leave it at that, man. This is Sweep the League. Coach Gio, Rudy Campos Jr. We get back. We're going to remember a little bit of Jerry West here. The logo passed away earlier today, or actually, late last night. We'll get into some Jerry West talk. And then, Gio, I'm pretty peeved and pissed about something when it comes to Jerry West. So we're going to get into that on the way back. This is Sweep the League. Coach Rudy Campos Jr., thanks for joining us. We'll be right back, guys. Do you want a refreshing new twist on the tea with ancient roots? Well, Special Leaf Tea is the way to go. Chris Cook, founder and chef of Special Leaf Tea, is introducing everybody to a 4,000-year-old ancient Mediterranean secret, and it is called Special Leaf Tea. Special Leaf's mission is to help people through naturally functional, ready-to-drink iced teas made with olive leaf, all natural ingredients, and no added sugar. Full of antioxidants and immune-boosting capabilities, olive leaf tea is known to help with blood pressure, hypertension, type 2 diabetes, cholesterol, weight management, and is even naturally energizing without caffeine. That's right, Special Leaf Tea, proud partners of Sweep the League, and as a drinker of Special Leaf Tea, I can attest to all of its great ingredients and better lifestyle. Special Leaf Tea. Digital. Yeah, shout out to Special Leaf Tea, one of the partners of Sweep the League. Appreciate you guys here. Of course, I'm usually drinking Special Leaf Tea, and I got yours ordered, Gio, so I just got to get it up to you now. So I got the address. So get you some Special Leaf Tea. We're going to talk about some.
Just send me the tea. Don't send me anything crazy.
It's the tea. I don't do anything like that. You're crazy. You know how much shipping costs these days? I'm not going to send you anything more than I have to. It's Logo Man Talk. Jerry West will be right back here in just a second. Sweep the League. The NBA lost one other legend. Recently, they lost Bill Walton, and we mentioned that, a song with Derek Gervin. But then today, an even harder hit to the league when it was announced that Jerry West, former LA Laker great, I don't think you can say great, legend, one of the greatest players of all time to play this game in general. I consider GOAT talk to be amongst a lot of people, but Jerry West ended up passing away, and it kind of made its way like a wildfire across the social media. And, Gio, we're talking about a guy who was an MVP on a losing squad. His career at West Virginia before the NBA. Yeah, a lot of people, which I'm going to bring up, point to his 1-8 record in NBA Finals. But when you're going against one of the most dominant teams in Boston, I believe he lost to Philadelphia, I think, or one, but mainly Boston, I think is what it was that he lost to. But you can't say anything bad about Jerry West at all. The numbers, the stats speak for themselves. The executive roles that he's held, the teams that he's built. The guy's about to go into the Hall of Fame again this summer as a contributor. He's already in there as an executive. He's already in there as a player. All in all, Gio, I do have a story about Jerry West that I'll get into here. I ended up meeting him one time in San Antonio for a Nike Summit when it was here. It was Final Four weekend. And that was the same time they had the Summit, Nike Hoop Summit in San Antonio, where a lot of the high school guys were taking on a lot of the world players. And you kind of see that, from time to time. I think it's up in Portland every now and then. But all the guys are here. All the legends were here. Jerry West was part of it. He was recruiting. He was looking at players. That was when Sebastian Telfair, that was J.R. Smith, Josh Smith, Jordan Farmer. A lot of those guys are here in San Antonio playing. So I got a story behind that. But remembering the legend, Jerry West, huge loss for the community of basketball.
Huge loss. He is the logo, Rudy. That's a big thing. And he was nicknamed Mr. Clutch. And Rudy, as you said, look, he went up against some tough Celtics team. But, hey, he did win, Rudy. He did get one. He averaged, around
29. I believe it was 29.
27, 29 points a game for his entire career. Man, he could assist, he could pass, he could steal, you do it all. And, in that 1969 finals, Rudy, I believe he averaged like 37 points a game. from what I was reading earlier today. I'm like, sure. Will Chamberlain could do that, Rudy. You know, he's a giant. But Jerry West to do that, and not only his NBA career, right, as Mr. Clutch they called him, but really his post career arguably could be better than his NBA career and some of those teams. I mean, he was part of building the Showtime Lakers, right?
Yeah.
And then the Shaq and Kobe era, and obviously it didn't end well for him in LA, but he was in the mix there of getting Shaq. And not only that, Rudy, he goes to Memphis, a team that just came over from Vancouver.
Yeah.
And sets the stage for a team that would beat the Spurs one year in the first round, right? Like of the NBA playoffs. Like he started that, and then obviously the Golden State Warriors, he was there for quite some time building up that, and we don't even have to get into that. And then the Clippers, Rudy, laying that foundation. And then a team that ends up getting to the Western Conference Final, I think 2021?
Yeah.
And I mean, just all that stuff. You talk about an ambassador of the NBA, because really, we talk about ambassadors, right? We talk about in the NFL, you have a John Madden, right? An ambassador for the league and what he did. And then we talk about Bill Walton as well. And Jerry West is right in the conversation, a tremendous player in his day. But, man, talk about his post-career Rudy, you talk about, 4 teams laying foundations, improving and leaving them better off before he got there? I mean, he's in the Hall of Fame, 3 times, right?
Well, he's going in the third.
Yeah, I'm going to the third time.
Wait, you're correct. I don't mean to cut you off, but you're right. His playing career was awesome. I mean, it's just jaw-dropping. But what's even more shocking was, you're right, his executive career
is just
7 NBA titles as an executive.
And Rudy, we talk about former NBA players when they get to that GM / sometimes they just don't do well. And the greatest example is your boy over there in North Carolina, Michael Jordan, with those big shirts he's always wearing and those baggy shoes.
You gotta give me crap.
Hey, Rudy, the man hasn't been able to pick up nobody. And he sold most of his majority stake. So, and we look at other players as well. It just didn't turn out. But, man, Jerry West, a legend. We lost Bill Walton recently, who was another guy we talked about, Rudy. But his post-career is as good as, if not any former player. It stacks up in any sport, Rudy. I'm talking here, and not just basketball, right?
Yeah.
It stacks up in any sports, because you look at some of the greats. Wayne Gretzky, he didn't have a career like this.
Yeah,
post career, right? So, man, what a loss.
I said 7-time, but it says it's an 8-time. I'm sorry, 8-time NBA champion as an.
Come on, Rudy.
As an executive, he had 1 title as a player. Not to the fault of his own. I mean, let's not be real. Those Celtic squads were vicious. So not to the fault of his own. But, I mean, you're talking about a guy who scored over 25,000 points in his career. He averaged 27 points, 5.8 rebounds, 6.7 assists. I'm going to give you a crazy stat, man. Or not even a crazy stat. I'm just going to give you a crazy fact. Averaging 27 points a game for your career without a 3-point line.
It's impressive, Rudy. And, they love talking about we need to cancel guys from different eras because they couldn't play. They couldn't dribble with their left hand and this and that. Look, averaging 27 points a game, Rudy, in that era, I don't care if you're playing against plumbers or whatever they want to call those people back in the day, you still got to put the work in. Yeah. And Jerry West put the work in. He laid the foundation to what future NBA players would obviously do, because Jerry West there wasn't a lot of Jerry West, Rudy, playing in the NBA at that time, right?
No, not at all. No, not at all, man.
So kudos to him. We're definitely going to miss him, the logo. Rudy, I have a quick question. Do you think eventually the NBA logo will change?
No, it better not.
No?
I don't think so. I mean, and that was kind of funny because I was actually brought up, I believe, this morning when I was listening to Frank Isola and Brian Scalabrine, and I listen to them every morning. And they were talking about it, and Jerry made the comment. He says that he didn't really care if they changed the logo. He didn't mind. It was okay with it if they did, because technically it didn't really belong to him, so he didn't care. But now that Jerry's passed, I mean, there's just no way you can change that logo, man. That is the NBA. That's been the NBA logo for a very long time. It should be the logo forever.
Yeah,
it should never ever change.
Unlike the NFL, because the NFL, if I believe, it doesn't have a player on it, right? It just says NFL.
Yeah, it's a shield.
And
it's
then
the NFL shield.
Yeah, I was saying, like, and then the MLB, like the NBA, I don't see why. I know Jordan's, LeBron maybe, but no, just leave it as Jerry West.
So let me throw this at you here, and then we're gonna get into these comments real quick. But let me throw this at you, and this is the reason why I say the logo. You talk about two other guys that they want to change the logo to. Jordan, obviously the jump man. They want to make that the logo, or a Jordan, Jordan shadow figure, when it comes to like maybe him driving the basket, dunking, maybe with the one hand, the lean. The LeBron, they want to do I don't know, I guess we call it a windmill type thing.
Yep.
So this is my argument for Jerry West, Michael Jordan, LeBron James. Jordan and James, career-wise, if you look at stats, accomplishments and all, yes, above West. But when you talk about the player, Jerry, Jordan, and LeBron, yes, Jordan's ranked number 1. Jerry probably is ranked number 3 on a lot of people's lists. But what I look at, when you want something to represent the league, represent the NBA,
yep,
it is more than just a player.
Exactly.
It is the person. Mike doesn't have a very good reputation outside the court or even on the court. LeBron doesn't have a good reputation on the court or even off the court. Off the court, he does. I'm not gonna lie. He has a great reputation.
He does want to own a team potentially one day. We'll see what that. But as you said, Rudy, it's the whole. It's the
framework. It's everything. Jerry West was, and this goes back to when I was talking about the Nike Summit, when I went there to watch, a lot of the high school ballers play against, it was Team USA versus the world, and Jerry West was there with a bunch of people. Shout out to Matt Doherty. I met Matt Doherty there too, took a picture with him and everything. So
nice.
He was Tar Heel coach at the time. But
man, I got to move to Texas, man. Rudy's meeting all these damn celebrities.
This was probably 20 years ago, Gio. This is a long time ago. So it's a while back. But nonetheless, I see Jerry West. He's talking to a couple of people. I go up to him and I'm like, hey, Mr. West, can I have your autograph? I was getting autographs at the time because I'm never going to be in this situation ever again. I had a basketball. It's like, can I get your autograph? He's like, yeah, sure, no problem. He signed it. And, I said, I'm a fan. My dad's a big fan of yours. I've seen highlights. He talks about you all the time. So I appreciate you doing that. One of the nicest guys, he's like, I appreciate you telling me that. I'm glad your dad is a fan of mine. So tell your dad hello from me. And that was it. It's just the way Jerry perceived himself to be. He was never a bad guy. He was always a good guy. Every player loved him. When, you hear the stories about when James Worthy was drafted, Jerry was the very first one to pick him up in his car at the airport, took him around LA. Shout out to James Worthy. I heard that on the town hall that he had with Jerry West a few years back, and it was on Sirius XM. But I remember that, James was like talking, you brought me, you picked me up at the airport, took me around LA, showed me this, showed me that. I mean, Jerry West is the logo for that reason.
No, he's the reason. As you said, the post-career Rudy, he was a good NBA player, and then just continuing that, the ambassador, he's well liked. I don't love how he's portrayed in that on that show on
Clipped? Is that what it is?
No, not. We could talk about that later.
We are.
That's ridiculous. But the other Showtime show on HBO Max, kind of portrayed him as a bit of a nuthead, which I'm sure he may have had some of that, but that guy wasn't portraying him probably. Really, the first time I saw him, not to carry on this, the first time, not physically, obviously, I watched a VHS of my brother called, I believe it's NBA Superstars. And back in the day, Rudy, NBA on VHSs were everywhere, right? I mean, Rising Stars, all those VHSs. And it was the first time, I think I was like 5 or 6 years old, I saw Jerry West was, I think, the first part of that. I said, man, that guy could shoot, he can play. And then now, all these years later, he would truly be missed in the NBA circle.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to get some comments here. Mario, I didn't forget. So I didn't see Jerry West or Pistol Pete. Was Jerry better due to Pistol being injury prone? I would say overall, yes, Jerry West was the better player. Pistol Pete was, I mean, man, he was a Showtime firecracker in himself. I mean, you saw the passes that Pistol Pete did, the scoring, he averaged 50 or 40 in college. I mean, he could score the basketball, Pistol Pete. He was an entertainer and definitely one of the greatest basketball players of all time, but I definitely take Jerry over Pistol Pete.
I would take Jerry. I will say, Rudy, Pistol's college careers, then he averaged like 44 points a game.
Yeah, it was like 40 something, close to 50.
Dude, some ridiculous amount. I'm going to go with Jerry, but as Rudy said, Pistol Pete, I mean, he was a first team. He did, I think he made about 4 or 5 all-star appearances. But I'm just going to go with Jerry just because of the longevity and it just kind of being on top. And obviously being in the championship every year, but obviously didn't win it all. But Pistol Pete was, if he's alive today, Rudy, that guy, he is I mean, both of them obviously playing in today's NBA. Because, people like to talk about, well, they played against scrubs. Okay, well, put them in today's era, right, Rudy? With today's rules and with 1970 work ethic. I'm pretty sure with that type of work ethic, they're going to be okay. And health is better. The food's better. You have nutritionists. Rudy, there's so many things that players didn't have. Like, a lot of NBA players, Rudy, were not eating right. I mean, I can only imagine Charles Barkley, Rudy, after a game in Philadelphia where he was eating at, right? Cheesesteaks and all that stuff. So it's just lay off some of the old heads, but I'm going to go with Jerry West.
Yeah, I think Jerry West is here. Mark Cavazos is back in here from Don Harris. Jerry West saw Wemby's first Summer League game from row 1 right under the basket. I sat right behind him. He spent the entire game gushing about the possibilities and all. Yeah, everybody saw Wemby. Jerry was definitely one. Being the executive man that he was, he could spot talent from a mile away. He knew. I mean, you're talking about the guy who went into, the 96 draft already knowing who he wanted in Kobe Bryant, knowing that he had to. And apparently Jerry admitted he offered Divac to every single team in that top part of the draft. Nobody really wanted him. And we're talking Vlade Divac, who was, all-star caliber at the time, not a dominant center, but a true work ethic center. This was before Jerry knew he was getting Shaq as well. So he was playing the Shaq card. He was trying to trade for Kobe. Look what he ended up doing. Got both.
Funny story today. I'm watching First Take, Rudy. Oh, no, Undisputed. Apparently, Paul Pierce said that Jerry West came to him. I forgot when it was. I think it was recently. That Jerry West tried to trade for Paul Pierce in the 1998 draft.
Well, that could be possible.
Jerry admitted to him that, hey, I was trying to trade up for you, but unfortunately we couldn't. But just imagine Paul Pierce, Kobe, and Shaq, Rudy.
Man, I think Paul has a better career with them. I mean, is he the second or third option?
He's the third.
But Kobe wasn't good to begin with.
Oh yes, yeah, I know the air balls in Utah, yes, but I just feel like Rudy, it was coming. It was a matter of time, and as I've always said to people, I didn't fear Shaq because I knew what Shaq was going to give. I feared Kobe as a Spurs fan, Rudy, because when he got going, there was nobody on the Spurs who could stop Kobe. And in that 2001 and 2002, the Lakers won 8 games and the Spurs won 1 game in those 2 years. So Shaq dominant, but Kobe was the one I feared. So really, I think Kobe would have, though it's interesting because Paul would then have his time in 2003, the Celtics went to the playoffs, but it would have been interesting, Rudy, but I think I think they would have broke up eventually because Shaq, he's doing this thing. They ship him to Miami. Though I do think Kobe and Paul could have worked. Would have been interesting possibly to see, but they both of them need the ball in their hand, Rudy. And Kobe, let's just say
that's a good poll question to put.
The greatest at always sharing, as he had the emphasis or the infamous game, Rudy, where they kept telling Kobe, "Hey, you taking too many shots." He didn't take no shots, basically. I think it was in the Phoenix series.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, true that. Darth Odium, Lord of Abomination, John Hernandez is in here. Jerry West is also a great teacher to the younger guys and to player looking to do something after basketball like Elton Brand. Yes, Jerry West was a great teacher. We're going to take a quick commercial break. On the way back, I've got my Jerry West rant. It may not be a long rant. It may actually make Gio's eyes pop up here. But we're going to we have Locked On Spurs, Jeff Garcia. Rudy, ever notice how San Antonio Spurs fans on social media will fall for anyone who thinks they are San Antonio Spurs insiders? Don't they know that San Antonio's are a fault?
I see a lot of those people on there. Sometimes I just laugh because I'm no insider. Yeah. I've never claimed to be. I don't know anybody in there besides probably Jeff. So
I trust the guys that I really know, Jeff Garcia being number one. If it's coming from Jeff, and if it comes from, even when it comes from Woj and Shams, I'm like, cool. But when I see Jeff reported locally, it's like, okay, now I can truly believe it. So Jeff's one, and I get where he's going with that. There's been a lot of people I see on Twitter, even Facebook and some groups, and they're just putting stuff out there left and right, and they're not quoting sources. They're not doing anything like that. And it's kind of annoying to me because like you said, I don't consider myself an insider. I've said a lot of things on podcasts that have come to fruition. Like they've come and they've happened.
Daniel Jones,
Well, yeah, Daniel Jones. But, I'm not going to toot my own horn, but I will say this. Before anybody ever talked about Stephon Castle, Dalton Connect, and Tejan Saloon to the Spurs, those three guys only, I mentioned it to Jeff way before all this on a Locked On Spurs. So if they don't believe me, they can go back on that, and Jeff can vouch for it. Once I got those out, it's like everything else fell into place. This guy's here. This guy's here. Oh, we got to get this. We got to get this. I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not tooting my own horn either. I just call it like I see it. And that's the way I've seen it. That's the way I look at when I'm doing videos. I look at player prospect videos and everything. That's what I see. So I do a lot of my homework. So no, I'm not an insider, but Jeff, I do think that a lot of people out there who are reporting stuff, they've got to give credit where credit.
We need some names, Rudy. Come on. Let's
That what? If I start dropping names, and we're gonna have a lot. And I do honestly, Gio, I'll go on commercial break just with this right here. I've got a lot of people that talk a bunch behind my back, and I've put it out there at the very first show. I'll put it out there again. If there's ever a situation where you want to talk about something, my platform is open 100% of the time. Come on over. We can talk about it. We can do it live. Or if you want, I'll go on your show and we can hash it out there. So I'm putting it out there for anybody out there. But yes, definitely is it right there. All right, commercial break, man. Quick sneaker question. Is it cool to rock New Balance kicks? Gio, Jeff wants to know.
Yes. I have some. I can show you, Jeff.
I got one pair.
I think I'm actually going to be adding a few more.
They are comfortable. They're
actually comfortable, and they've made, and it's not because of Kawhi Leonard, but they've made a comeback over the last few years. I'm a fan.
Rudy Campos Jr., Gio.
The dad shoes.
We'll be back here in just a second to Sweep the League. On the flip side, the Jerry West rant. We'll get back to you in just a minute to Sweep the League. Living in South Texas, we know tacos are king, especially in the San Antonio and surrounding areas. So if you want the best, then go get the best. La Cocina Taco Truck, located at 283 West San Antonio Street, New Braunfels, Texas, where Louie and his staff are cooking up the most amazing and greatest street tacos you can ever imagine. There is no order too big or too small for Louie and his staff to get going and get ready for you. La Cocina Taco Truck, again, 283 West San Antonio Street, New Braunfels, Texas. They are open Thursday through Sunday evenings. And again, if you want the best, you've got to go to the best. That's La Cocina Taco Truck, partners of Sweep the League. Attention coffee drinkers, Mudslingers Coffee, 2404 Thousand Oaks Boulevard, Monday through Sunday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. That should be your first and only stop for your coffee needs. Rudy Campos Jr. coming to you from Sweep the League. Hey, man, if you are wanting that specialty espresso drink, whether it be the cinnamon bun avalanche, the German chocolate cake, or you know what, the original, the Mudslinger itself, or why not go with the Muddy O Slinger? Or you know what, if you like the classics like myself and you just want to chill with a latte, a chai tea, or just grab an Americano, Mudslingers is the place to go. Hey, they even have cold drinks, the Italian soda, the Lightning Bolt Italian soda, Fruit Slinger smoothie. Oh, you know what? Let's not forget the most important thing there besides coffee. Those hot mini donuts. I haven't had a donut in a long time, but that should not stop you from heading over to Mudslingers and grabbing some of those hot mini donuts as they come out. That is, again, Mudslingers drive-through coffee, 2404 Thousand Oaks Boulevard, Monday through Sunday, 6 to 6. Why do you choose Mudslingers? Because life is too short for bland coffee. All right, so he's got the New Balance, Jeff, so that way you can check him out there. He's definitely got New Balance. I don't have, actually, you know what? I do have my New Balance shoes. I'm gonna grab them real quick. You go for it.
The the 327s, I believe. And I'm definitely going to get a few more pairs because I see them a lot. And I'm definitely rocking these. I normally wear these, though, with the pants need to be tapered.
See,
so
these are my New Balance.
Okay, yeah, nice.
These are the ones that DeJounte Murray were rocking for a while there. I guess this was his first shoe, technically.
Yeah, so I think within the last few years, they've skyrocketed. Nike has copied a few of their looks. It's a copycat league, but yeah, no, Jeff, it's not sure if you have a pair, if you've been thinking about it, Jeff, but I definitely endorse you getting those.
Jeff's baller, man. He's got all the money in the world. He's probably got every New Balance ever made. About every shoe ever made. He's probably got Jordan 1s, like the original.
Jeff should run for mayor of San Antonio.
Yeah, I think so. We can definitely do it. We'll definitely vote Jeff for mayor of San Antonio. Jeff, for the kiddos, they are. My 13-year-old daughter wants an old school style. So yeah, the kids are rocking New Balance. My daughter wanted a set of Chucks, a pair of Chucks. But then she tried them on. It's like, oh, it's too flimsy. I'm like, okay. But now she's talking to me. She's like, Dad, I need some Jordans. I'm like, oh, no. I don't know if I can go down that road. Daddy got to get another few pairs before you can get your first pair of Jordans. But no, I'm definitely going to take her to get some Jordans.
Yeah. Make sure the hand is reaching out, Rudy, and the hand isn't like on the back or something.
Gio, why are they made in the USA models of New Balance so pricey? Oh, New Balance is pretty pricey, man.
It definitely is. I think for those, I paid like $115, $120, which I thought, you know, it's definitely higher up there. I just think the popularity, Jeff, honestly.
Yeah.
Because growing up, Rudy, honestly, I felt like that was not a shoe I was looking to wear. I would see older men wear, and you know, it's ironic now. It's ironic now because now I'm an older guy. But
New Balance was like the old man look at the time.
Yeah.
Growing up.
Now that looks in style and they've changed, they've kind of, I guess you could say, rebranded in a way, Rudy, and they've come out with some good shoes, and I see them a lot more often now. When I'm out and about. So yeah, the shoe prices have gone up. I think it's just in general, just the market.
Yeah, it definitely is. Hey, we're gonna get into the Jerry West talk here. We're gonna end it here. Last segment of Sweep the League. So our spotlight segment is Jerry West tonight, man, and it's a spotlight rant. So get a call right before I get this phone call from Derek earlier this morning. He's talking to me about Jerry West, and I'm going on Facebook, and I even see it on Twitter. I can't remember where on Twitter, but I see it on Facebook in a group here. And I see a post that says, all it says is 1 in 9, and you consider him the logo. And that's it. That's the post. Now, all being said, 1-9 is wrong. It's 1-8. So you got to do your research on that shit first. But my problem is this, man. Today's generation, and I don't even know if it's all today's generation, but it could be some older guys like us. It could be, maybe older than us, period, way older than us. But a lot of it's the younger generation. What pisses me off the most is the total disrespect for legends of the game and to always discredit what they do in their career. I mean, you're coming after Jerry West, who averaged, like we said, 27 points a game for his career in a league, in an era with no 3-point line. You're talking about one of the best shooters in the NBA without a 3-point line, 25,000 plus points, 27 points a game. And people are technically shitting on the guy. And it pissed me off because why are you going to disrespect Jerry West for? The nicest guy, one of the nicest guys in the league, period. And it really upset me to see that because a lot of these guys hide behind one thing, and that is a damn keyboard. Social media has made everybody just open their mouth 10 times wider and speak into a computer that has no repercussions. No one can do it. And that is sad. Do your research. These guys are legends. Yes, they didn't play against LeBron James. Yes, they didn't play against Michael Jordan, but they were GOATs and they were legends in their own era. They were the best for a reason. They are still talked about by true basketball people for a reason. And that is what it pisses me off when people disrespect the guy. I don't care if today was the day he passed away or anything, because it happens all the time. You even have current guys, JJ Redick, talking crap with Bob Cousy and everything. It needs to stop, man. Eras are eras, but these are the legends of the game. These are the reason why a guy like JJ Redick can make the league and average 12 points a game and have a better lifestyle than hard workers like you and I do. I mean, stop it already. Who gives a damn about your feelings and all this other stuff? If you have an opinion, keep it to yourself unless you come out with straight facts and research this shit. Because you know what? There's another guy who has a losing record in the finals, and that's LeBron James. Done.
Rudy. I completely agree. Having that record in the finals, look, he played against, and context is so important. And sometimes people like to pick and choose. We all do it sometimes. But look, he played against a dynasty, Rudy. The Boston Celtics, who had Bill Russell, Cousy. The list goes on and on. And look, he played well to the point where, Rudy, he won the NBA Finals MVP when his team lost to the NBA. When have you ever seen that, Rudy?
Never. It's the only time it's ever happened.
It's the only time in NBA history that a player from the opposing team, the NBA said, hey, you know what? You are so good that we have to give you the finals MVP. Brody, that's insane. That is actually mind-boggling to think. And it's one of those things that will never happen in any sport, I don't believe, ever again. But Jerry West, to say that, look, to be the logo, as we talked about, Rudy, it's not just what you've done on the court, but off the court, right? The ambassador of the league, turning around 4 franchises and making them relevant. And I mean, the Lakers, obviously the Showtime Lakers, and then getting Shaq, Rudy, getting Shaq to the Lakers. That was huge. Drafting Kobe Bryant, assembling that team, right? Picking and choosing, right? Getting a Glenn Rice to come over, a Rick Fox, all these guys. And then obviously he goes to Memphis, and then the Clippers and the Warriors. Just people need to stop. And we talk about eras, and they had that cancel the 90s era. I'm sorry, Mitch Richmond would ball today. Chris Mullin, with that work ethic and his shot, Chris Mullin would ball today. How many?
Can't touch these guys.
Can't touch these guys. These guys with their work ethic for what they had. Rudy, Chris Mullin, look. He was a really good player at St. John's. He comes to the NBA, a shooting legend. A lot of people don't even know who he is. And if you Go look at Chris Mullen's stats because Prime Mullen is probably 25, 5-5. So look, I'm gonna leave at this, but no disrespect to Jerry West. Leave him alone. He's passed. No need to throw shade at someone just because they went 1-9. As I already said, LeBron James has a losing record in the NBA Finals, and I don't barely hear no people ever talk about that, especially his. And I'm not going to say what they call them, but the LeBron lovers. It's crazy, Rudy, to even think that's the first thing that you think of, and it's crazy, Rudy, because it happened to Bill Walton when he passed away.
Yeah.
People that I hear, oh, well, Bill was trash. He didn't do anything. Because they think of Bill Walton, they think of his days in Boston, which, by the way, for him to win a Sixth Man of the Year was actually very impressive coming off of his injury. Bill Walton is he's probably the greatest college basketball player. You know, if you want to say Kareem, whatever, but Bill Walton's right there at the height. And really, he led a Portland team to the playoffs. They had never been.
Yeah.
Their career. Get into an NBA championship for the city of Portland. They're still looking for another championship. But a lot of people were talking crap about Bill, and I'm like, why? Why are we doing this?
Nothing better to do.
Nothing better to do but talk shit about Bill Walton and his shot. Listen, Bill in his prime, really, if Bill doesn't have those injuries, dare I say he's a top 5 center of all time.
I would not argue with you on that.
If he stays healthy, he is I believe he's in that mix. Obviously, he has to win more championships. You know, he's competing against the Lakers eventually. But look, man, why? What is it, Gen Z, Rudy? Or whoever these people are?
I don't know.
Stop it.
It's the keyboard generation is what it is. You know what? In the era of, you know, where, and I've kind of made this statement the other day, and it kind of is true. In an era where hard work means pushing record or pushing the go live button, that's what hard work is today. It's the lazy era is what it is. I mean, people get rich off of videos, and you know what? Talk all the shit you want about us. You know, we're not here making money off of these videos. We're not here making money off of a podcast. We're just talking sports where we want to talk sports. But in an era where I can make more money by going live, and you know, the other part is doing stupid stuff, you know, out in the wild. Just, you know what? I'm going to go up and, you know, push this cop and run away. But as long as my buddy's recording me, I'm going to get 1 million views. And guess what? They're going to pay me for it.
Rudy, it's crazy.
Stupid era.
TikTok, the amount of videos, Rudy, that I come across on TikTok, you just sit back and thinking, why? And why are you like this? And what are you doing with your free time? The amount of people who are just doing things for clicks, and these sports people, and it's just not professionals, as you said, Rudy. It's people you're every day putting on a camera and recording things absurd. You know, there's this clip from this guy, I forgot his name. He's big on TikTok. And there's a clip of him saying, oh my God, you don't know how great Tim Duncan was. I forgot his name, but there was this young kid talking about that Anthony Davis is better than Tim Duncan. And he's way better. I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. Wait, what? Did you see when people forget Prime Duncan, Rudy, in 99 against like the Lakers in that series? He's putting up 30, 34 points. I mean, he is putting Shaq to work. But these people listen, I get it. It's recency bias and all that stuff, but go watch a game. Go watch the NBA greatest games on NBA TV. Go put on some old basketball games and just enjoy it. What's all the hate for? Complaining about eras? Like it's just mind-boggling. And then they just continue, and every day is a new trend. We got to cancel this guy, cancel Bill Walton, and cancel him and that. You guys don't get tired of just talking about people every single day. Yeah,
it's bad, man. That's, you know, and then just already seen it for years upon years, Gio, and then seeing, you know, Jerry West passes, and one of the very first comments I see is disrespect. And then the comments, you know, below that post, I mean, he was trash and he didn't play in the good era, and, you know, he wouldn't even make it in today's era. It's stuff like that, man. Like, truthfully, there's people, you know, there's people that have podcasts that say stuff to say stuff. They say whatever they want to watch it stick. And I'm going to just tell everybody before we leave now, I'm going to tell everybody, myself, Coach Gio, Derek Gervin, everybody that is on Sweep the League, who have host roles, because we are all hosts. There's no such thing as a co-host on Sweep the League. But I pride myself as Sweep the League's founder with these guys when I say this. We don't say shit to see what sticks. When we talk, and again, people have told me this, when we talk, we know what we're talking about. We're bringing you the facts. Yes, it's our opinion, but we have stuff to back up our opinion. We don't say anything to see what sticks on the wall. And I pride myself on that. You pride yourself. Everybody that's associated with Sweep the League, we all pride ourselves on that.
No, I completely agree. And you might not always agree with us, but we're going to speak our mind. And just like I said a few years ago, Eli Manning is not a Hall of Famer. And I don't care what anybody says, but we could talk about that another day, Rudy. That's one of my strong opinions.
We need to, because I do want to talk about that. I mean, 2 Super Bowls, and I mean, stat-wise,
So it's funny I bring up Eli real quick. Barstool does this thing where they'll say, name a better quarterback. So Aaron Rodgers is there, and Eli Manning, and 3 people, which I think were Giants fans, picked Eli Manning over Aaron Rodgers. No, stop it. That's ridiculous, Rudy. And
do you pick, like, would you say you would pick Eli over Aaron only because of the Super Bowl wins?
No, I'm picking Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback. Mm-hmm. Just a pure quarterback. Eli Manning, his touchdown interception ratio is the same. He didn't win barely anything on the last 10 years of his career. We didn't do anything. Mm-hmm. At least Aaron has actually won 4 MVPs, and people literally picked Eli Manning. He has 1 more Super Bowl than Aaron Rodgers. I mean, okay, but people were picking Eli over. But they were Giants fans, so.
So I'm gonna give you one question before we leave. Is Matthew Stafford a Hall of Famer?
So I've talked about this with my friend Gerald. I'm going, because my thing is, Rudy, if you have to think about it, they're not a Hall of Famer. That's kind of my way of thinking. If you have to sit down and think, he's not. I do think, though, Stafford's on his way to becoming a Hall of Famer. I want to see a few more seasons, but Rudy, his stats, they're kind of inflated, obviously not because the league has thrown a lot, but he's going to have the stats. He's going to have the touchdowns, and he could potentially have another Super Bowl. And he's with one of the best coaches in the league. But I'm going to say at this rate, I'm closer to yes, because he does have, Rudy, Calvin Johnson, a historic season, Cooper Kupp, a historic season, the Triple Crown winner. And look at what Puka did last year, a 5th or 6th round draft pick, doing what he did. So I think Stafford is definitely making his case. And he may play another 5 years, so we'll see.
Okay, so then if you're putting Stafford in, you have to put Eli in. There's no doubt about it.
No, but the difference is that
Eli's okay. You mentioned Calvin Johnson. You mentioned Cooper Kupp. Those 2 guys are better than what Eli's had. If you look at his receiving core, Plaxico Burress is probably his best receiver. Maybe you can make a case for Victor Cruz. But if you're putting up Calvin Johnson and Cooper Kupp against Plaxico Burress and Victor Cruz, you can say Eli's done more with less with those 2 receivers.
But Rudy, the stats to me is what's going to separate this.
They're identical, Gio. As of right now, they're identical. 56,047 yards for Stafford, 57,023 yards.
Stafford's going to play another 5 or 6 years.
He's going to be up there on stats, but what if he doesn't ever win another Super Bowl? Plus, you can't fault Eli either on the Super Bowl. Stafford has a Super Bowl, but Eli has 2 Super Bowl MVPs.
Well, I thought Aaron Donald should have won, but Cooper Kupp won. I hear what you're saying, Rudy, but I'm going by errors. I'm going by when did Eli
Didn't we
play?
just talk about errors here?
We're talking about errors, right?
Okay.
My thing is we're going to compare Eli Manning to his error. And I just, especially without the last 10 years, no playoff appearances. He led the league in interceptions 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's apples and oranges here, but if Stafford wins, definitely wins another MVP. And if he gets to a few more playoff appearances, we'll see what happens. But I get where you're coming from, that Stafford obviously had Calvin and Cooper Kupp. But obviously the errors were also different. Like, sure, quarterbacks were throwing Rudy, but there was still Tom Coughlin's a run first, right? Like he's like Sean McVay. Sure, he's from the West Coast system, but he prefers to throw it than run it than some of the other guys. But
so if you were to put
football is going to be hard.
Era.
Football is going to be harder though, Rudy, because of how it's just Kelly, Troy Aikman's numbers, Rudy, is not that good. I mean, let's be real. If you look at Troy Aikman's numbers, sorry, Dallas fans, it's not very good at all. But he won 3 Super Bowls, and he's part of one of the greatest kind of teams of all time. So football to me is a little bit, I guess, harder because of the discrepancy big time. I mean, crap. Jerry West averaged 27 points for a career, Rudy. In today's NBA, that's pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Like,
in today's NBA, where does that rank him? Let me real quick before we go. Let me go to those stats real quick. I want to see where that.
I gotta think he's what, top 10, top 15?
Easily top 10.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So now Joe Namath, Rudy, Joe Namath's stats is actually probably worse than. Actually, it is worse than Troy Aikman and Namath. Listen, I respect the hell out of you, but Troy, his stats are not that good. I'm going to stop, Rudy.
Joe Namath is one of the most overrated, and if not for a guarantee,
I'm not going to throw a hate on him. I'm going to put some respect on his name, but his stats is also pretty pedestrian too.
Just like, okay, so real quick. Jerry would have been tied for 13th at 27 points a game this year.
That would have been,
I mean,
pretty good. That's not people talk about drop off. Jerry would have been good. And obviously the game has changed. He would have worked on other things as well, right? Like he would have shot more threes. It's just,
that's what I'm saying. Tough. So let's say today's game, figure in the 3-point shot. I'm comfortably saying he's averaging 29 to 30.
Oh, easy.
With the 3-point shot. I think so. So that would put him in top 5 easily.
Yeah, what I was saying.
But
so
what I was going to say was, and it's funny because I just was going to say it and now I can't even remember. We're talking about overrated. I would love to get your comments on this because I'm on record on this show saying Derek Jeter is one of the most overrated players in all of sports.
And Rudy, I feel like we have talked about this before. Mm-hmm. And I get both sides of this. Like overrated, he played with some really good players on that Yankee team, Rudy. There's a lot of guys, and he wasn't always the best player on that team. But he did make 14 All-Star games, which I know that's not always, the indication, but 5 Gold Gloves, 5 Silver Sluggers, career average over 300, Rudy. Well, I believe he has over 3,000 hits, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he played for the Yankees, Rudy, and you know how this is. The evil empire, right? I do think if Derek Jeter played for...
If Derek Jeter was a Mariner, he doesn't have the same career.
No.
It's because he played for the Yankees and he has that many eyes on him. It lifts him up.
It lifts him up. And obviously, not to compare the Yankees and the Mariners back then, but the Yankees had obviously the better team, more money to put around Jeter, right? Because sure, like Ken Griffey was great in Seattle, right, Rudy? He was the sweet swing, all that stuff. And he lifted them to, but Rudy, Ken Griffey only lifted them to so much as the second round, right? Because obviously he did have Edgar, and I can't believe freaking Randy Johnson was with the Mariners and they let him go. I don't even want to talk about that, but anyway.
Should I bring him up? Randy Johnson, Griffey.
Griffey,
Edgar Martinez, Tino Martinez, Jay Buhner, Alex Rodriguez. I mean,
all these guys that they had, they obviously get over the hump. But Jeter, I don't know. It's just that Yankee lore, right? I mean, the Yankees were down for a bit, Rudy, and then obviously they caught fire, and they were obviously able to get more guys in there. And he won 5 World Series. But I do think the talent around him probably elevated his game too, really, to a certain extent, because he wasn't the greatest athlete. I mean, he was a really good player, but on a team that he won 5 World Series. So
yeah,
my friend Greg's going to probably hate me because he loves the Yankees, but I'm just being real. We always say, Rudy, it matters where you go, right? It matters where you go.
If Jeter's a Marlin,
No,
if he's a Tampa Bay at the time.
No. And look, he's had some really good highlights. You know, that one pass against I think the A's in the playoffs, right? But really, they could have also won more. That's the scary part, right? Because they played the Arizona Diamondbacks, which ironically had Curt Schilling and Randy Johnson, and they won that in 7 games. And then look, they also played the Florida Marlins, right? And Josh Beckett and that team who ended up beating the Cubs, which was a crazy series on that. But Jeter's lore, Rudy, might be even higher if he gets to 7 or 8 World Series. But the fact that he plays in New York, the Bronx, a team who's won over 20 championships, they haven't won in a while, but they could potentially win this season. I'm actually not against what you're saying, Rudy. You know, we don't always agree on everything, but I'm actually okay with you saying, hey, you know what? He was a bit overrated, but hey, he played with some really good players and he was in playoff mode all the time. And it just kind of elevated his game. Because really, like you said, if he's with the Marlins, I don't see it. Now, if Ken Griffey's with the Yankees, Ken Griffey's doing Ken Griffey thing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Ken Griffey's, he's probably up there with the Mantles and the Garretts.
And Ken Griffey once said, I'm never going to play for the Yankees, right? So he made that very clear. So if Ken Griffey's on the other team, that's the mark of a great player. But you know what? Look, I'm not going to throw any shade on Jeter today. He's done his thing, but I'm not going to fight you, Rudy. I'll fight you on Daniel Jones. And I'll fight you on some other things that you said. But I'm not going to fight you today on Derek Jeter because I actually agree. And as someone who grew up a bit in New York and who was around that for a little bit, I can definitely understand. But yeah, I could see people say, yeah, he had an overrated career, but he did show up clutch in some big moments. So when you play in New York, Rudy, that's what happens. But if he played with the Marlins, you're right. I don't think we really hear much of him.
No, we definitely don't, man. We're going to have to get going here. We got NBA Finals already starting. So when we come back tomorrow, when we get Gio back on, we'll talk about overrated players. We'll go into Jeter talk, Joe Namath talk. And it's a very sensitive subject, Gio. We may get canceled, but there's even talk that I've made on a show a while back where I asked the question, is Manu Ginobili more San Antonio Spurs folklore than an actual NBA true legend? That is an actual question that I posed, and
I might fight you on that, but we'll see.
And again, we don't say stuff just to say it. When we say stuff, we have stuff to back it up. So I definitely I'm excited to talk like that. But yeah, this is Coach Gio. It's Rudy Campos Jr. Sweep the League. Hey man, until we sweep the league again tomorrow, we'll be back. We'll recap some NBA Finals. Also, we'll get into some NHL talk. Tomorrow's the Thursday edition. Then we got Friday. So it's afternoon delight on Friday. But for Coach Gio, for Rudy Campos Jr., for Derek Irvin, Shemaya Reed, Stats himself, Rocky Garza, everybody associated with Sweep the League, we appreciate you guys joining on. We'll see you later, Knuckleheads. MCS General Contracting is here to make life easy for you. Rudy Campos Jr. for Sweep the League, coming to you for MCS General Contracting. Chris Leha and the boys are out to provide the absolute best service and quality work. Whether it's that perfect patio in the backyard or possibly the front yard, or you need that durable driveway, well, you know it's hot in San Antonio majority of the time, so what about that long-awaited swimming pool you've been wanting to get? Contact the boys over at MCS General Contracting. They will take care of everything that you need, and I guarantee you they are the best in the business. MCS General Contracting.